From Ohio's haylofts and tool sheds, driveways and blacktops where future legends practice buzzer beaters under dimly lit mercury lights, it's the show that covers all things high school basketball. Here is Northwest Ohio Hoop Chat. And now two brothers who would full court press each other even when leading by 30. OHSAA Hall of Fame coaches and your hosts, Doug and Dave Kraus.
I'm going to tell you right now, Ryan, if that ever happened and he was up 30 and still pressing at the end of the game, there would be a fist fight on the side of the court. It would be on.
Why would I be the one up 30? You don't think you get up 30?
Not very often. But
you're right. 100% I agree with what you said. Had there been anything like that, there would have been fisticuffs. Hey, you know what? We weren't against throwing fisticuffs every now and then, and I could see that happening.
Well, yeah. I mean, if there was a sideline mic, and we played 25 different times now, if there were a sideline mic, that would have been pretty comical.
Yeah,
because there was, typically you don't say much to the opposing coach during a game, but there was running conversation. It was almost like it's a backyard type of mentality, and it was kind of interesting at times.
That's got to be great. I saw a Michigan State game just the other night, and Izzo got into it with a person across the court. Did you see that?
Former player who got booted out of the game.
Like, what are you doing?
He used some other words in there.
He did. But
we had a good couple conversations at time. I think you already started them. You talked to everybody.
I usually did. I admit that. I kind of thought I could maybe get under your skin so you wouldn't think about coaching and maybe try to get retaliation, but you had too many good assistants over there that kind of kept you focused.
They certainly did.
Yeah, speaking of the assistants, lost a really good one this week.
We sure did. Since December, our friend Mike Kennedy, what a guy. There's not enough words to describe Mike Kennedy and what he meant to the Archbold schools and community in our basketball program. Mike not only coached basketball, he was a three-sport coach. He was all seasons, and you don't see that very often. And he did football, junior high, junior high track as well, and obviously did the basketball between. But he was, like I've said before, the thing I tell about Mike, he was a giver. He gave of himself. He gave of himself within the community, within his church. Obviously, his family was huge for him. What a guy. 34 years he was on our staff with Joe and Walk and myself. And then he kept on with Joe for 7 more years. And, he was planning on being there this year too, but the cancer got him. He just couldn't do it. He was trying. He came to a couple practices throughout the early season, but it just couldn't work out for him. And it went so fast, and it's just so heartbreaking. And you just miss him. I was very fortunate that I had a chance to say goodbye to him, and that meant a lot. That meant so much to be able to say that I loved him, and he told me the same thing. So that was awesome.
Yeah, you had a special group of guys, and Mike was a big part of that. That's for sure.
Huge,
and the loyalty he showed to you, your staff, your school, it's rare and it's pretty special.
Oh, no doubt, 100% on that. I don't know of any program in the state that had what we had for 34 years, and the same staff. Why those guys never left, I have no idea. But those guys loved Archbold. That's why they stayed. They loved Archbold, and they still do. And Archbold's been good for us and good for all of us.
Yeah, and you could have any head coach in the world, the country, the world. If they don't pick well their assistant staff, they're just not going to have the program that they have otherwise. And that's what you guys had, that continuity of a program. That's why Archbold has as many appearances in Columbus as it has. All right.
Well, that a couple of good players helps too.
Yeah,
I was going to say that.
The Jimmies and the Joes do make a difference.
They certainly do, and they did.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the way teams are looking right now in the early going into the season here.
Well, here we are in January, and obviously both the men and the women have gotten off to, a good 10 plus games already, and heading into the bulk of their league schedule at this point. But there's a few teams in each of the various leagues that have kind of separated themselves at this point with their overall records. Let's talk in the GMC on the ladies' side. Paulding's at 9-1, Fairview's at 8-3, Edgerton is a 9-4 squad. On the guys' side, you got Paulding at 7-3, Edgerton at 7-4, and Ayersville at 6-4. So those are the squads, at least as we stand here today, are leading the pack in that respective league. In the BBC, we'll talk to Connor Ruffer from Stryker today, but her squad's at 9-2, and then you have a couple 8-3 squads in Fayette and Edon. And on the guys' side, Montpelier right now is right back at top, 9-1, playing really, really well,
Mm-hmm.
and Hilltop is 7-3 with the guys, and then we end up with the NWOL, and boy, there's loaded teams on both men's and the women's side. For the ladies, Delta's 10-1, Archbold is 11-2, PH 9-2, Wasion 8-4. So all impressive records. And on the guys' side, similar. PH 9-1, Archbold 6-1, Evergreen 6-3, and Liberty Center 4-3. Late start, but take a look who they played on those three.
Schedule, you betcha.
It's impressive who they've scheduled and competed against.
Yeah, 100%, no doubt. The season's going to start back up here. The leagues all start. We can maybe talk about that a little bit later in our show.
Very good. Let's go to the Coach's Corner next.
Hey, we want to welcome to the Coach's Corner today Connor Ruffer, the head coach of the Stryker Lady Panthers. Connor, hey, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, great. You're into your sixth season already as the head coach. I always like to dive into that. You're back at your alma mater.
Mm-hmm.
Was that something that you was planning to do from the get-go, or is that just materialize?
Yeah, really, I never really left. If I go back to think about it, I don't know a time that I haven't been to a girls' basketball game, probably since, I don't know, upper elementary. I have two older sisters who played. I was their manager. Then I played throughout high school, and right after I graduated, I started helping out Coach Steve Brown, and haven't left since, really. So I've been assisting JV for a year, and then I've been there. So for the last probably 10, 15 years, I don't know how many games I could probably count on one hand that I haven't been at a Stryker Lady Panthers game. So it's been pretty cool just to see that progression and continue to be a part of it.
Well, you got your Panthers off to a really good start of the season, 9-2, 1-0 in the conference. Give us a little rundown as to maybe the personnel you have and how they all contribute.
Yeah, I think this kind of starts talking about last season. We have the same girls coming back from last season, and last season was a successful season for us, but difficult in that we only had 6 girls total. So things were a little bit challenging, and I think that was a struggle year, but the girls really took that on and found ways, no excuses of like how to get better each day with the 6 of them, and then to have those girls come back and now be able to play 5-on-5 in practice and kind of add on to the skills that they gained from last year is huge. And we have just a really tremendous, great group of girls who want to be there for each other, want to get better every day, want to win, and are willing to kind of make those sacrifices in order to do that too. So
with the numbers that you have, low numbers, it's a little bit better this year from what I understand, correct?
Yes. Yeah, we're able to do full JV and varsity this year. So that's nice.
Yeah, that's really nice. How about giving us your style of play? What style of play do you prefer with your ladies?
Yeah, I think maybe it's just ingrained to me and my assistant coach, Molly Kidson as well. She was from Stryker, and we've added Riley Blower under our staff too from Edon. But we've always been like a defense first minded team. So I think that's just been something that we just kind of continued on in that tradition. So I think the girls really buy into that. They know those expectations of it starts on that defensive end for us. And if we can hold them to less points than we score, that's kind of our mindset. Some coaches go out and say, if you score positive, 1 point, it's a win. But I think if we, hold them to 1 less than us, that's kind of our mindset.
Yep, that always works. How about, let's talk about some of the young ladies. Why don't you give us some names so we can know who we're looking for?
Yeah, our senior group, I can't say enough good things about. Those are our four girls with Reese Cray and Allie Ruffer, Grace Freilich, and Abby Oberlin, just being kind of those leaders of, they've been through the tougher times maybe the last couple of years with numbers and stuck with it. And I think the girls respect them. And we don't have someone maybe that's going to go out and score 20 points a game. But if you kind of go back and look at our scores, we have girls who will score 6 here, 7 here, 10 here. And I think it's nice to have, maybe a 25 point per game player, but I find it even more encouraging as a coach that we have girls that's hard to scout. You don't know who's going to be making shots or who's going to be the player of the game. So I think with our seniors to our juniors, Aubrey Clemens coming back and help us out, Anna Donovan as a sophomore, and Chloe Goebel as a freshman has been giving us some good minutes here and there throughout games as well. So I think it's just nice that we have a well-rounded team, and I as a coach don't know, who maybe you play more minutes than another person at a game, and that's a good thing.
Absolutely. You mentioned your background a little bit. Let's just kind of backtrack. And when you played as Stryker, 1,000-point score, really successful, had some regional runs under Coach Briggs.
Yep.
Right. And
yeah, freshman, sophomore year. Yeah, able to make those couple regional runs and do that with my sister as well. So that was a fun time.
Fine memories there for sure. So then went off to college. But when did the coaching bug actually say, I'm into this? I want to coach. When did that hit you?
I think I just have always loved basketball and just competitive in nature. So I started off maybe like wanting to play at Defiance College, went through a little bit and just, wanted to come back and help out more of like the Stryker Lady Panther program. So I think being able to be there underneath Coach Brown and kind of that immediate mentorship too, from going from player to coach right after graduating, that was huge and helpful for me, and able to have someone that I trust to ask questions to and just know he's created that program, and I just had a really good role model in that aspect as well.
We know Coach Brown very well, and I can see him in that role. So let's take it to a different avenue then. You obviously played for him, and now you've coached with him. Mm-hmm. As you look back and reflect, which was easier to do?
I know, it's a good question. I think sometimes I feel like coaching is a little bit harder because there might be things where I just know, like, oh, see this, do this, make this cut, cut here, do that. But sometimes I guess my teaching background might help me in that way too, as coaching, of knowing how maybe girls understand how to learn and how to visualize things, or using film and just using the multiple different formats. But I think it's a little bit tricky when you're trying to convey something that maybe you naturally get and you just kind of teach it in a different way. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I really like that. Again, that was a good question, Davey. How about we have a couple of questions we'd like to go about some of the relationships that you have. My understanding is that you have an uncle that you coach against a couple times a year over at Pettisville. Would that be correct, Coach Wadvogel?
That is correct. Coach Wadvogel is my uncle, so that's just a little competition there just to add to the Stryker Pettisville rivalry.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Just like you need more addition for that, huh?
Yeah, we don't, at family gatherings, we'll talk about basketball. We don't necessarily talk about Stryker versus Pettisville, but we'll definitely talk about basketball.
Well, yeah, I know the two of us had a couple of contests against each other through the years. Those are pretty neat, and it's always neat to be on top when the game ends.
That's true too. Yes, and he's just another guy that he's a well-respected coach around the area. And if I ever need to have any questions, just someone that I can look for and confide in as well.
Well, a second relationship we want to kind of pick your brain about is that we kind of heard through the grapevine, so to speak. If there was a Hall of Fame for people who keep the scorebook.
Oh yeah.
A gentleman by the name of Joe Greaser keeps your scorebook, and he actually told me that he is the best around. So I am guessing. Would you nominate him for the Hall of Fame and to kind of make him not lie?
Yeah, I will officially nominate him right now. And but really he is someone that during a game I can trust. Yelling things out just here and there, giving me good advice. And after the game, before the game, he's also someone that
Well, I can look. Does he wear a Stryker Panther hat, or does he wear that tiger thing on his head?
It depends. Sometimes it's a Stryker shirt with a tiger hat. Sometimes
oh my goodness! And you let him keep score?
He's not a Hall of Famer at all.
No, not at all. Hey, real quick, on Wednesday nights in the summer, I happen to do some golfing over at Wasion, and there's a Ruffer golfing in our league. You know that guy?
Yeah, I guess he's not too bad of a guy. Yeah.
Yeah, our league is called the Swing and Swear, and I think maybe he might be part of those, the S&S club.
Yeah, I wouldn't deny that. I actually started taking up golfing too, just so that way when we go out, I can maybe one day beat him as well. So.
Well, if you can beat him, you're pretty good because he can whack it. So
Oh, yeah.
I had to bring that up. He's a good guy, but
Yeah.
that's good stuff. How about as we wind down here? Your league is just a pretty good league this year. I think it's going to be pretty balanced. What are you thinking of the BBC?
I think, the last few years, this year including, I think really anyone on any given night could beat anyone. I think it's, there might be some people saying, we're the top runner, Edon's another one in the mix for Fayette, but I think anyone if they're having a really great night and, maybe some teams are on their best game or whatever, I think it is pretty competitive to where it could be, maybe you lose a game, you lose two games, and maybe be still close in that title race. So, and that's a good thing, not to just to be on your A game every day. And that's something I tell the girls is, people see maybe us on their schedule and they're going to go out and give us their best. So we have to always be on our best. We can't be relaxed going into any game.
Yep. Hey, Connor, we can't thank you enough for taking the time and sharing us some Lady Panther insights, and wish you well as you continue on, and the best wishes all the rest of the way.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks, Connor. Want to introduce Duane Miller, the head coach at Edgerton Bulldogs, in our coach's corner this afternoon. Duane, appreciate your time.
No problem. Thanks for having me on here.
Well, you're very welcome. You're in your second year at the Bombers, and I'll tell you what, I look back at that first year you had, that was pretty sweet. 17-9, district champs your first year. You get to the regionals. You battle the regional champ Arlington, and you just had a great season. Why don't you give us a couple minutes on that, or give it a little time? What was it like that first season, completing like that?
It was it was a great finish to the year, but what a kind of a roller coaster throughout the year. I mean, we started out 8-2, won the 49. Had a great stretch there. We beat some really good teams, Archbold, Wasion, some teams Edgerton hasn't beat in quite a while, and some teams that went on to have really good seasons. And then we kind of hit, we lost 5 of 6 in the middle there. Hicksville, Tenora, Pettysville, beat Antwerp, lost to Montpelier for the second time, and then lost to Paulding. And I think it was that Edon game, the second time we played Edon, because we played them in the 49. The second time we played Edon, we beat them in overtime at their place, and I think that was really a turning point in our year. Corey Herman hit a huge shot to tie it, to send it into overtime, and I don't know if we get to where we get to at the end of the year without that win, because we went on to win 5 of 6 to end the year, and that really spurred us into the tournament run. And we faced some good teams in the tournament. Stryker had everybody back when we played them, so I mean they were clicking on all cylinders. Montpelier beat us twice already before we got by them, and then I mean every time we've played Edon, I think we've played Edon 4 times now since in my 1.5 years, and every game has been close.
Right down to the wire. Yep.
Yeah, they beat us. They beat us. I mean, for 3.5 quarters in that game too. And that Arlington game, man, I'd like to have that one back, because I really think we could have put a better performance together in the first half and given them a little better a game and might have been able to sneak out of there with a win. But they did a heck of a job making it and winning the region then by knocking off St. John's. But I mean, just great year.
Sure,
I mean, kids showed some great resiliency, and I could have been more proud of that group of kids for the way they responded there in the middle and the way they finished.
Well, prior to being named the head coach there at Edgerton, what was your previous coaching experience? Give us a little background.
I helped Bodie Kaufman at Fairview. When he got the head coaching job, I was still in college and I was playing baseball, so I didn't really have an opportunity to sit on the bench that much. But I would come to all the practices and as many games as I could. And then after I got done playing baseball, after a couple years of his tenure there, I joined the staff full time and had different roles throughout. Freshman coach starting out for a couple years, and then assistant varsity coach as he finished out his career. So I mean, that's really the only actual coaching experience I had before taking the Edgerton job. But man, learned a lot from him and from playing for Coach Ripke too. Like two great guys to learn from, and and get coaching experience from, I guess.
Well, you and I have a commonality, and that is being named head coach at your alma mater. So when that happened a year ago, what was your gut feeling about coming home and being the head man?
Man, it was awesome. It was very. I mean, it was kind of like it wasn't bittersweet because I always wanted to be at Edgerton, but the Fairview job was open at the same time. Knew a lot of them kids, got offered that job as well, and so I mean, you pick and choose there, and but I mean, I couldn't pass up on being the head coach at Edgerton. It's a dream of mine, and I love the community. I love the school, and I love those guys that play for me. So I mean, it was quite a surreal experience for me.
Yeah, you'll have opportunities to make a lot of memories. That's for sure. You mentioned the 49. I love how you refer to the 49 for our viewers or listeners. We're talking about the Holiday Classic, 49 Classic that you play annually. Back-to-back champs now since you had a busy holiday and were able to secure that again. And then you're on like a 4-game winning streak, so you've got it turned around a little bit. What's been some keys to turn around, and maybe some of the players that have really been helpful as you've made this little run here?
We got healthy for one. We had guys out with sickness. We had the flu and stuff run through our team there when we were playing Wauseon and Stryker. We were missing Sanchez against Wauseon, Everett's against Stryker, and I'm not here to kind of debate whether we win or not with those guys, but I certainly would have helped us. But we got healthy, and then we started shooting the ball a little better. We're not shooting it great from the perimeter, but we had guys finally step up and knock some shots down, especially in the 2 tournament games. Mason Eldon stepped up and hit some big threes for us and had a great second half in the championship game. And Maddox Baker finally started finding his shot a little bit, and we got timely play off the bench from Carter Gibson and Parker Eldon. Man, them guys have brought some serious energy and effort into that 4-game winning streak. I don't know if we win that first game against Hicksville that we played without Carter Gibson coming in the first half and scoring 10 points for us. So, I mean, just a lot of contributions from a lot of different guys, and I think it's frustrating as a coach sometimes because you don't know what you're going to get out of certain guys on any given day. But I also think that could be a benefit to us because the teams that we play don't know who's going to show up and who's going to contribute for us on any given night as well. So just, I think, finding a little more consistency in our play offensively and defensively, turning up the pressure a little bit. I think we've gotten after teams a little more and really kind of focused on putting pressure on teams' guards and trying to force them to not be able to get into their sets and their plays as easily and disrupt kind of the flow of their offense a little more. And I think that's helped us put together this nice little streak.
Yeah. Well, you've already mentioned a few times already the Edon Bombers, and we know the rivalry between those 2 programs. But it makes it a little bit more invested for you because the man who's coaching that group was your coach. So talk about that relationship and when you guys go head to head.
Man, great relationship with Coach Ripke. Always, tremendous respect for him. I'd still run through a brick wall for the guy if he told me to put on a jersey right now and come play for him, I would. But no, I just, great mentor. I mean, he's always so prepared. It's tough to surprise him with anything. And the way my team plays, I think it's a lot like how we used to play for him, and that's just a byproduct of having learned the game from him and stuff. They're always fun. People get their money's worth at those games. I'm not saying they're fun. I'm not saying they're fun because they're very it comes down to the wire. But man, people get their money's worth, and it's got to be entertaining for the fans to watch those games because him and I get pretty animated throughout. But no, it's great to go against him and just like face a competitor of that nature because there ain't I don't know if there's a guy who wants to win as badly as he does all the time, and I couldn't ask for somebody else to compete against or have that sort of those sort of games with that come down to the wire like that. Those are games you love to play in way more than you like the blowouts and stuff. So tremendous respect for him. would do anything he asked me to do for him, and just, good to see him over there sometimes not when he gets the best of me. But
Well, that happens either way. I mean, but those are games that make your team better too. I mean, win, lose, or draw. So, hey, if I were to come to one of your practices, Duane, what would you hope would stand out about your team as I watched your practice?
well, I would hope, I, hopefully on the day you come, my team's giving great effort and preparing the way they need to prepare to win with our next game. But that doesn't always happen all the time. But no, I hope that you would see guys that know that the drills that we're trying to do that are way harder. We're trying to make them way harder than what the game might be. So I hope you see guys that are getting frustrated sometimes when they're not having success on every single possession of the drill or whatever, but also coming back the next time around and competing and making each other better. I hope you would see a practice where guys push each other and don't play the friend card where, hey, I'll go easy on you and you go easy on me and we'll both look good. I hope that, I've tried to create that culture where, they'll still be your friend after. You ain't gonna hurt nobody's feeling and stuff, but that's the only way you're gonna make each other better. So I hope you find intensity and guys by the time they're done are exhausted, because that's the way we hope to practice. So that way when we get in the games, they're a whole heck of a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You've had a great, start of your season, 7-4, 1-0 in the conference. You got a big weekend with the Tenora Rams on the road, and you got the Pedgesville Blackbirds coming to your place Saturday. So we want to wish you the best as you continue on here, and we thank you for your time today, Duane, and all the best to you.
No problem. Thanks, guys, for having me on here.
You betcha.
Time now to thank our sponsors for Season 2 of Northwest Ohio Hoop Chat. Our title sponsor this season, the Terry Hendricks Auto Group. Terry Hendricks sells and services new and used vehicles with a reputation for professional service. Visit or contact both Terry Hendricks Ford and Terry Hendricks Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Archbold. D&G Welding of Archbold. Call 419-445-5751 and ask about their mobile service. Rely on D&G Welding for all your welding needs. American Freedom Energy, located just off US 24 on Highway 109 by Liberty Center. If you're traveling in the area, stop in for a fuel fill-up of high-quality Marathon gasoline. And while you're there, pop into Grandma's General Store. You'll find locally produced grocery items from local Henry, Fulton, Defiance, and Williams County producers. Ward's Power Sports and Carts in South Archbold, your hometown experts for top-quality golf carts and UTVs. Stop by or go to www.wardscarts.com and see why they're the area's trusted choice. S&W Mills of Archbold, proud supporters of the Archbold Blue Streaks and all our area students and athletes. Call S&W Mills of Archbold for all of your animal bedding needs at 419-445-5206. Viking Trucking in Ridgeville Corners. They provide reliable transportation for your construction materials like stone, dirt, asphalt, rough material. They handle all types of heavy materials for your construction needs. Call 419-267-3319. Viking Trucking, where quality doesn't cost, it performs. Theo Construction in Blakesley. They excel in custom residential and commercial construction services. They offer custom home building, remodeling, commercial build-outs, and project management. Trust Theo Construction for your next construction project. Also, while you're in Blakesley, visit the Theo Supply Center. From power tools to plumbing supplies, they offer everything needed to tackle any job. The Sherwood State Bank, with branches in Sherwood, Defiance, Archbold, and Fayette, offering banking and financial services for consumers, business, agriculture, and investments. Call the main branch at 419-899-2111 or visit one of the local 4 branches nearest to you. And Innovatech Solutions of Archbold, your trusted technology partner. Call 419-445-8088 to learn more about their many services or visit them online at innovatechsolutions.net. That's Innovatech with a K, solutions.net. Thanks to all our sponsors for Northwest Ohio Hoop Chat Season 2, and we do sincerely hope that you, our listeners, will patronize these fine businesses. And if you enjoy Hoop Chat, thank our sponsors for supporting the program.
I want to welcome Briggs Gallehue from the Edon Bombers to our senior spotlight. Briggs, appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, you're very welcome. Your Bombers are 6-4 right now, overall 1-0 in BBC action. As you look at what you've done and so forth, I mean, last year you were 15-9, and you had a district runner-up finish, a BBC co-champ, which was awesome. You personally had a really good year, obviously. Division 4, all honorable mention, all Ohio, with great honors and well deserved. But now you're back at it, like I said before, 6-4. What do you think has been the key to some of your team success last year and then, of course, in this year for sure?
Well, last year, I think that our team just knew each other well, and we've always we had a lot of seniors on our team last year, and I think we just played together a lot overall, like growing up, and so we knew our personnel very well, and so we just grew up playing together, and like we just had good chemistry with each other. And this year, like we have to have new guys step up and play different positions, and new guys that haven't played very much. And I think this year we're just starting to play together more as a team and just swing the ball more and communicate better on defense and just execute against good teams.
Well, I know you're a multi-sport athlete, and looking back, what got you started, your love for sports?
When I was little, like I always just loved watching sports, like professional sports, college sports, and my dad used to coach, or he was on the head coach for the girls when I was growing up. So I was always in the gym playing basketball, and I always loved watching my brother and sister play sports too, and I just loved growing up watching sports and playing sports.
Well, yeah, as a multi-sport athlete, Briggs, it's imperative then to get busy in the summer. So you got a busy summer, don't you, with 3 sports that you have to kind of, manipulate. So tell me what a typical day might be for you in the summer.
In the summer, usually we have football in the morning. We have like weightlifting and practice, and then usually in the afternoon we have something with basketball, whether it's an open gym or just like to go in there and work on fundamentals. And it's usually that around 3 times a week in the summer.
Yeah. Well, we're partial. Both of us are partial to multi-sport athletes. We both coached at small schools similar to what Edon is, and you just rely on kids playing throughout. It might not be their best sport, but doggone it, they're out there, giving their best for their school and their buddies and things. You come off a football season, 9-2, really good playoff run. You beat your rival there in Williams County as that playoff started. And then you transition into basketball. So Briggs, what do you think? What parts of football do you think carry over to making you a better basketball player?
I think just football, like overall, is like a good thing for leadership for me, like to execute my leadership on the team. And so I think that carries over for basketball, like helping younger guys out and just helping us get ready for like games and preparation and just setting guys up to be in the best position that they can be in.
Okay. Well, you've received many personal honors yourself, but you know what? In a team sport like football and basketball, you need people around you. You need teammates that obviously support you. Why don't you give us some of your teammates that have been a big help for you in this basketball year and in your career?
I think Christman has really stepped up shooting the ball as well and attacking the hoop. And I think Kendall Briggle coming out to play this year has played like a huge role in our defensive, like our defense, because he's so he's athletic, long wingspan and everything, and he's a great defender. And I think Caden Stance has done a good job handling the ball pretty well and hitting shots when we need it to be.
Oh, very
and I
good.
think just overall, some of my other teammates just have played well and stepped up into bigger roles than they've been in.
Well, the one thing we happened to see your game last Saturday, and one thing I was impressed was you posted pretty well, but they really looked into you as far as nice entry passes down the post and so forth. That's not easy to do.
Yeah.
Well, I heard you also kind of completed a milestone in that game, 1,000-point score. Is that correct?
Yes, it is correct.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's really a neat milestone that for any athlete to achieve.
That was awesome, no doubt.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So as you reflect back, and we talked about your busy summer, what maybe might have been something that you really focused on, Briggs, to better yourself as a basketball player this past summer, and what'd you work on?
Just one of my goals was achieving 1,000 points. So this summer I've put in a lot of work with just handling the pressure in the post and just having multiple guys on me and scoring through contact and just demanding the ball in the post, because I know that if I get the ball in the block, I can go up and score. Mm-hmm. And so I just tried working on that over the summer and just preparing myself for anything.
Well, you're averaging a double-double. I mean, you were impressive Saturday night at both the obviously scoring and then also on the glass. I had you down for 14, 15 rebounds against Archbold in a big upset win, I guess, if you want to call it an upset, Archbold's first loss. That was a fun game to watch. And What do you like about rebounding? You know, what's it take to be a good rebounder?
I think just rebounding overall is just important, especially when you play good teams like that. Like everyone on the team needs to go and rebound the ball, and like I'm happy I'm a good rebounder, and I can just go up and high point the ball, and just if we're on offense, go back up and score the ball, and on defense, I look to kick it out and go run with my teammates and go get some transition buckets.
Well, you also were willing to bring the ball up the court a few times too, which is always nice for a big guy. How about in your career, as you look back in your entire career, what would be one area you would say you've improved the most throughout your basketball career?
I would say the biggest thing I've handled is pressure, whether it's in the post or at the free throw line or just handling the ball, like in general. Like when I was early in my career, like I struggled when I was getting pressured anywhere on the court. And I think overall, as my career has like grew, I think I've gained like more composure and more like pressure. Like I'm better at handling pressure, like in the post or anywhere, and I'm good with handling it now.
Well, as a senior, that's a really good leadership thing that you can show and demonstrate to all your teammates, let alone particularly the underclassmen. We talked about how busy you are, away from the court, away from the field, etc. And track and field is down the road, and you're like, what, the discus school record holder, that type of thing?
Yes.
That's pretty impressive.
That's awesome.
We can keep going and just adding on to your accolades. That's really neat. But what do you do? What do you find interesting off the court? What keeps you busy when you're not competing?
Usually when I'm not in any sports, I'm hanging out with my family or friends, like going out to eat or just staying at home, hanging out with my family, or I like to just go out and like I don't like to like lay in bed all day or stay at home. I like to get up and get going.
Well, you know, I think you and me have something in common from what I understand. I heard back in your freshman year, you were the outstanding freshman in choir. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And have you continued your musical talents in choir throughout your career?
Yeah, but this is my 4th year in choir. Yeah,
Well,
in high school.
That's awesome. And you know, you've had some musical parts too, I suppose. And you've been involved in some musicals.
Yeah, yes, I have been in musicals.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's what we have in similar. Because my senior year in high school, which is a few years ago, I was a lead in the musical of our senior year. I'd like you to know that, and I would like you to know that I was the lead in the Charlie Brown. You're a good man, Charlie Brown. Can you guess what role I had?
Were you Charlie Brown?
No, that's a good guess, but I was Snoopy. I had the big role. That was a lot of fun. And we enjoyed it. What? Give me one musical you've enjoyed doing.
We did a musical, Mamma Mia,
Oh yeah, that's good stuff there.
and we've done Mamma Mia and Footloose was also
Oh,
a good one that we've
nice.
done.
Briggs, so we're nearing the end, unfortunately, of this talk, but we want you to kind of give us a preview maybe of what you think you're going to be doing once you graduate from Edon. Any future plans at this point?
Right now I'm currently undecided, and I've thought about my future a little bit, but I still have not come to a decision on what I clearly want to do or where I want to go yet.
Okay.
Well, that's okay because you know what, a lot of people or kids are like that, and someone will come up and you'll make the right decision for yourself. So hey, we appreciate you taking the time, Briggs, and you know I enjoyed watching you play last Saturday against Archbold, and that was a great good effort from your Bombers. If I could finish with one thing, if you were going to give a young kids in the Bomber area advice to about their sports, what advice would you give a young Bomber or any kid for that matter?
I would just say to always like show up to the high school games and watch and learn things, and to always practice ball handling in on your free time or anywhere at home, and always just work on layups and free throws because they're always so important when you grow older and you play at the next level.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, hey, we appreciate it again, Briggs. Good luck to you guys. And you got Hilltop at home Thursday night. So good luck and best wishes to you, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot, Briggs. Hey, we want to welcome to the Hoop Chat today a pair of seniors from Patrick Henry High School to the senior spotlight portion. Welcome, Caris, Crossland, and Ada Christman. Thanks for joining us, girls.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Well, great. Let's just jump right into it. You guys have been on a great roll. You're off to another super start, 9-2, coming off a 25-2 record a year ago. So, what do you think's been the key to the success that your teams have had?
I feel like this year, in the past few years that we've been in high school, me and Ada have took steps as leaders. And I feel like the past few years before we were in high school, we didn't have a set in stone leader. Mm-hmm. And I think me and Ada took initiative on that and started to bring our communications to practices and games. And we brought our team together really close. And I think our team's really close this year. And I think that's what helps our success.
Yeah. I agree with Caris, but I think the most of it is just both me, Caris, and a lot of the other seniors are just great leaders on this team. And there's really nothing bad I can say about this team. It's just such a compatible team, and we always are working together.
Well, it sounds like you have a good team chemistry going. That's for sure. Mm-hmm. Caris, you're leading the team in scoring 18 points a game. Ada, I call you kind of like a unicorn type of player. You're a stat shuffer, and that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
Real good.
You're getting about 11 points a game, but then you're a team leader in rebounds, you're a team leader in steals, you're a team leader in block shots, assist. Not too many times your quote unquote post player is your leading assist person. So let's talk about maybe as you looked at your individual games, what did you try to improve in the off season to bring into this season? Ada, why don't you start with that?
This season, I really wanted to try to be more aggressive. So I really worked a lot more post moves this year and some ball handling, and I really tried to dial in my shooting. But it really was more of a mindset thing. I just wanted to change my mind to be more aggressive, also while still passing the ball.
Caris?
This year, I really wanted to work on my mental aspect of the game. I think that I have the ability to play on offense and defense, but sometimes my confidence drops and I get in my head and I want to work on that mental aspect of it. But I also want to go in on offense and defense. And for offense, I want to work on more than just a three, like finishing and dribble pull-ups and everything off of that. And then defense, I want to become a better on-ball defender. So I've been working on that too.
All right.
Those are important, no doubt. Ladies, last year you had a great 25-2, as Dave mentioned, regional runner-up to a nice Columbus Grove team. If you look back on that experience, regional runner-up, that's pretty daggone good. What have you learned? What did you take into this season from that loss and that tournament run you had? Go ahead. Either one of you. Go ahead.
That game especially, we had a pretty slow start. Yes, we came out slow. We got down big by very fast. So this season, especially Coach Crossland really talks about getting a fast start and not waiting to the third quarter where we usually start to blow out a lot of teams. But we want to try to do it the first quarter.
Yeah, I think that last year we were still building our defense for Hope Side, and we played really tight on Auchmuty, but I think that was a factor in why our defense wasn't as good during that game, was because we haven't really focused the game on one person. And that's what
Well, anyhow, let's talk about this season. You mentioned your leadership and the roles you guys have adapted to. What about some other, some key players that you've whether they be fellow seniors or anybody on the squad that you felt have stepped into various roles?
I think since we lost Casey last year, our point guard, I think Sophie Gildy has really stepped into our role as a point guard. She sees the court really well and will find people no matter where she's at. And I also think Kelsey Schreiber has stepped into a post role because there's Ella and Kelsey have really stepped into their roles as a post, because Ada does mostly, she's a 4. So she gets a lot of passes down low. But I think that when Ella and Kelsey get down low, they box out backside and they get as many rebounds as they can to contribute.
Yeah. I think that Kinley and Maida have taken big steps in becoming shooters and also being aggressive. Also, Kinley working some of the point. And then also Ella just being super aggressive on the offensive boards. She puts a lot of work in on just rebounding aggressively. So I know that she's got a big role in the rebounding part of things.
Okay, very good. We know there's some family ties to this team. So you've already mentioned the sisters, but let's talk about each of you have a sophomore sister. So talk about playing with your sister for these last 2 years. How's that been?
It's had a lot of ups and downs. But overall, it's been a great experience. I mean, there has been times where me and Ella have really, really gone at it. There's been tears. There's been, just annoyance. But really, I just think it's been a great experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Yeah, I really enjoy playing with Kinley, and it makes me really sad that I won't be able to play with her anymore. But I think that even though we get on each other a lot, and you can tell on the court, you can sometimes hear us yelling at each other in film. But I think that having someone with you, whether it's at home and on the court, is really beneficial. You have someone who will tell you what you're doing wrong, and you obviously get mad about it, but you know that they're right.
Okay.
So you're going to listen to them.
Okay.
But I've just really enjoyed playing with Kinley over the past 2 years.
Well, the other side of the family ties is you both have a parent on the coaching staff. So talk to me about how that dynamic works.
It was my 8th grade year, or my 7th grade year. My dad wasn't coaching yet, but I knew that if he did coach, he wanted to be able to watch any games. But I knew that he would one day be my coach, and I wanted that. And ever since then, I have someone who will always support me, and he'll get on me like no other person will. But I know that it's for the best. So.
Growing up, my mom had always been like one of the coaches on our like 5th and 6th grade teams. So I've always had her, coaching me by my side. And a lot of the times there's been a lot of times I've gotten annoyed or frustrated because she always seemed to go harder on me than the others. But in the long run, and now I especially see that she really made me into the player I am today. And I wouldn't be where I am without her being my coach throughout my life. So I really, really love that she's one of my coaches.
That's great. You both have made decisions for your future. And so tell us about that decision you've made and maybe what was the key point in the factors as to why you made that decision in the school you're going to.
So really my biggest thing was somewhere close. I'm just a very big homebody, to be honest, and I just wanted to be somewhere close to my family. So I was really, Finley was like my number one goal, just because it was like the perfect situation for me. But a couple weeks before Finley, I got offered by Cedarville, which it was an amazing campus. I loved the coaching staff. But Finley, the only thing that beat it was just not only did I really, really connect with the coaches and players, but it was just right down the road. And that was kind of what I was really looking for, along with a great community. So I just think Finley had it all for me.
Well, I like that as an alumnus of that university. I like that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead, Caris.
When I visited, Trine was my first visit, and I just knew it had somewhere in my heart that I really liked. And as I went on all these other visits, I went on so many of them, I just kept coming back to the thought, like, I like Trine. And my parents would ask me, like, oh, I don't know. But I'd be thinking, I like Trine. I don't know. Yeah. And I think their coaches really brought me into like their aspect, and I felt like family to them. And they would give me calls on a regular day basis. I met with some of the players, and I just felt close to them. I played with one of them on AAU one year, so I already knew her, and she would text me and all this stuff, and I just felt like I was already a part of it. So I already knew where I wanted to go.
Well, I can also say that's a beautiful facility you're going to have a chance to play in. That's a beautiful campus, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Girls, we could probably talk forever, but A, you got to get back to class, but B, we really enjoyed you all taking the time, and we really wish you the best coming up as you resume your NWL portion of the season Friday against Evergreen. So best of wishes to you.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thanks a lot.
Time now to thank our sponsors for Season 2 of Northwest Ohio Hoop Chat. Our title sponsor this season, the Terry Hendricks Auto Group. Terry Hendricks sells and services new and used vehicles with a reputation for professional service. Visit or contact both Terry Hendricks Ford and Terry Hendricks Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram in Archbold. D&G Welding of Archbold. Call 419-445-5751 and ask about their mobile service. Rely on D&G Welding for all your welding needs. American Freedom Energy, located just off US 24 on Highway 109 by Liberty Center. If you're traveling in the area, stop in for a fuel fill-up of high-quality Marathon gasoline. And while you're there, pop into Grandma's General Store. You'll find locally produced grocery items from local Henry, Fulton, Defiance, and Williams County producers. Ward's Power Sports and Carts in South Archbold, your hometown experts for top-quality golf carts and UTVs. Stop by or go to www.wardscarts.com and see why they're the area's trusted choice. S&W Mills of Archbold, proud supporters of the Archbold Blue Streaks and all our area students and athletes. Call S&W Mills of Archbold for all of your animal bedding needs at 419-445-5206. Viking Trucking in Ridgeville Corners. They provide reliable transportation for your construction materials like stone, dirt, asphalt, rough material. They handle all types of heavy materials for your construction needs. Call 419-267-3319. Viking Trucking, where quality doesn't cost, it performs. Theo Construction in Blakesley. They excel in custom residential and commercial construction services. They offer custom home building, remodeling, commercial build-outs, and project management. Trust Theo Construction for your next construction project. Also, while you're in Blakesley, visit the Theo Supply Center. From power tools to plumbing supplies, they offer everything needed to tackle any job. The Sherwood State Bank, with branches in Sherwood, Defiance, Archbold, and Fayette, offering banking and financial services for consumers, business, agriculture, and investments. Call the main branch at 419-899-2111 or visit one of the local 4 branches nearest you. And Innovatech Solutions of Archbold, your trusted technology partner. Call 419-445-8088 to learn more about their many services or visit them online at innovatechsolutions.net. That's Innovatech with a K, solutions.net. Thanks to all our sponsors for Northwest Ohio Hoop Chat Season 2, and we do sincerely hope that you, our listeners, will patronize these fine businesses. And if you enjoy Hoop Chat, thank our sponsors for supporting the program. There's the final buzzer. Time for the final buzzer segment of our program. Guys, looking around the area in the 4 counties and the leagues that we have around here, what are some of the matchups that you're looking forward to this week?
Well, before we jump quickly to the matchups, just over the holidays, we had some really outstanding performances that stand right out. A.J. Fiddler from Montpelier has just had a multitude of 30-point performances, and he's on what is called a major roll. And then what's interesting, you pick up the paper and you read about a Jack Badenhop from Liberty Center. New name, but he's a freshman. That's why it's a new name. And just the other night, he put up 21 points against a very talented Division I program in Toledo Central Catholic. So you got a freshman that has that much moxie to go out and get that done. That's impressive.
Oh, no doubt. And we're gonna get a chance to see him on Thursday night, and we're looking forward to that when we broadcast the game Archbold at Liberty Center, which is going to be a big matchup. It's going to be a huge matchup,
and it's just the way the schedule rolls. But that you have that matchup in the NWL, and then the other 2 teams that everybody picks and chooses to be contenders would be Evergreen at Patrick Henry on the same night. So you got the top 4 teams, at least record-wise / everybody's pointing to heading, going against head-to-head right from the get-go. So very interesting opening week in the NWL.
Yeah, and the GMC, they open up this week as well. And look at the girls' side. I think an interesting game. Thursday night, Wayne Trace Raiders going to Ayersville. I think both teams will compete quite well in that contest. Another game that could be interesting, Fairview at Hicksville. Hicksville at Fairview, and the Ayersville's at Wayne Trace. I had to back it around. But those are 2 possible good contests. The BBC girls on Friday night, you're looking at Fayette going to Pattersville. Is a game that I think are a couple of teams that will battle pretty hard there. So again, league's starting up. The BBC's already had a start, but the NWL and GMC starting up, and just never know what's going to happen.
Fun time of the year.
All right, once again, we invite you to drop us a line for next week's Lessons from the Bench segment. Ask us questions about life, coaching, basketball, or even funny situations. You can find Hoop Chat on Twitter. You can leave a message on nwohiohoopchat for us on X. Email your questions at nwohiohoopchat, all one word, nwohiohoopchat@gmail.com. Thank you to our listeners for joining us for another week's edition of Northwest Ohio Hoop Chat with Dave and Doug Kraus. Thanks once again to all of our sponsors for today's program, and thank you for tuning in to 96.1 WMTR. It's been a production of WMTR Sports. For Doug Kraus and Dave Kraus, I'm producer Ryan Throne. We'll see you courtside.